Right, we are.
Hello, boys.
Hello, how are you two?
Have you been behaving yourself?
No, but that's another story, you know.
You weren't at that protest in London, were you?
What, at London? Oh, I reckon I were like, aye.
Yeah.
It were great fun. I reckon there was the BBC said there was at least 200 people there.
200? Wow, that's
at least
so many, dude.
Yeah, I had me crazy. I know, I had me crazy tinfoil hat on and everything, you know, and saw Chris there at the other end. Actually, I didn't see Chris.
No, we didn't see you. I really looked forward to seeing the minibus from Teesside, the minibus from Newcastle, but it was just so big. I mean, I can't believe how it was a wonderful day, and we got to one point, and I looked. You could look right across London and could see the convoy was going opposite side of the city. The whole of London was absolutely packed. I couldn't believe it. It was just amazing. You know, hundreds of thousands. Some people say 500,000.
Hey, honestly, there was a bit of a clip that Mal showed me that he'd taken, and they were on one side of the Hyde Park, and he just scanned over, and it looked like a medieval battle scene, you know, with like the troops coming over the hill. There were thousands of them, you know, thousands on the street with it. He was on, and like thousands coming across Hyde Park. So I was probably with them thousands coming over, like, you know, but we had good fun getting down there, man.
Fantastic.
It was 6-hour drive down, 6-hour march, and then 6 hours back. I was knackered.
666 there, Chris. Charlie.
Okay.
Oh, bloody hell.
Kim, can you play the clip of it?
Yes.
666.
I shall play the clip of it, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah. We were there making history.
You were there, man. Charlie's not here.
Oh, Charlie's popped up for a quick bag. He'll be back.
Well, hello everyone who's watching. We're just looking at some footage from the London March. Where did the march start and where did it finish?
Started everywhere, it finished everywhere.
So it wasn't like Trafalgar Square for Downing Street like what we did last
No. Generally, we all kind of generally converged in Hyde Park, and then 2 flares or 3 flares, I don't know, and people went off in different directions and all slowly merged again. So it was like we all came out of the woodwork and we disappeared into the woodwork. There was a little bit of a pony show for the media in Speaker's Corner at the end, but just watch this video.
I'm upset I couldn't attend. I definitely will be attending the next few, for sure.
Oh, you got to be, if you want to be part of history, Kim.
Yeah. It's interesting, they call it a lockdown, but it's actually a lock-up. We've all been locked up.
Yeah, Gosh. I'm emotional now just watching it again.
Freedom.
So many interesting stories. You know, every person I talked to had a fascinating story to tell, and a new aspect to everything that I didn't know. One guy, his partner, his wife, has lost 3 people to the COVID vaccine. 3 people died after taking the vaccine. 3 people
in the family dying because of the vaccine. Wow.
Yeah. But there's other people who just gave me so much interesting information about health and how to live in the moment and how to three-dimensional thinking, all of this stuff. Fifth dimensional thinking, sorry.
Love you, babes. Love you. Love you too, babes. So there was no like antagonistic behaviour from the police, was there?
Absolutely not. They were absolutely wonderful. Oh, that's
Contrast.
an interesting character.
What a contrast. Absolutely a contrast. One of these is breathing nice and heavy down the microphone there.
That's me.
Charlie, pull your microphone a little bit away from your mouth. Can you hear me? I don't know. Charlie.
You see, I mean, like, I didn't realize until the next day how many different areas, how many different streets were marched down. Like, we didn't go down Pall Mall, we didn't go down by Buckingham Palace. It was all over the place.
Oh, look at that. We've got a wink there. Did you see that? The police officer winked.
Yeah.
The one eye symbolism there.
Well, there was quite a few peace officers.
Peace
dressed
officers
up
is
as,
a good one.
yeah.
Maybe we should turn them into peace officers.
Yeah.
Charlie, I think. Can you hear me, Charlie? I don't think Charlie's with us. He keeps dipping in and out. I think he's got bad signal.
He can't hear us, but we can hear him.
Charlie, can you pull your microphone?
Yes, but
Pull your microphone away from your nostrils. There we go.
Hello.
There we go.
Hello.
Absolutely fantastic.
I've come upstairs to see if I can get a better signal.
Yeah.
So do we know who made this then? Because it's got a thing in the corner.
it's by Oracle Films. They've done a few really good professional things.
Lush. Oh, he's gone again.
Oracle did a really good one from when Mark Steele was speaking in Trafalgar last year. So people, you've really got to be there for the next one. I can't explain how good it is.
Do you know what it is? I really regret not going. It's like something that I'm like as every day passes, I'm thinking, man, I wish I'd gone.
Don't look back. Be at the next one.
Yeah, be in the moment. Be in the moment, Kim. But the reason why I didn't go is because basically I'm trying to earn a little bit of money at the moment, and just by being here in Newcastle for a weekend, I've actually managed to spend more money than probably if I'd went to London. So it's a mistake not to go.
Swings and roundabouts. I had so interesting story when I went there. There was, I didn't know whether I was going or not going, because my lift kept changing his mind, and I was regretting I hadn't booked to go on a coach, but I didn't know for certain until 10 to 4 in the morning when I got up to check my messages, and he said, "Yeah, I'm picking you up at 4:30. What? Yeah. So quickly scrambled up, got my things together, drove down to the meeting point, and we set off there, and we went to Milton Keynes, and we got an early train, and the train was absolutely empty, and we had a wonderful journey in there. We met up with a couple of friends on the way, and Charlie's back, and as we got into London, we slowly, we went to a random tube station, and then we slowly kept meeting up with people, and we went all around Kensington Park, Hyde Park, and it was just like a snowball building up. We get to Hyde Park, and there's more and more people there, and then the flares go off, and we all go in different directions, and then as the day went on, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it just was enormous in the end. It was just breathtaking. I don't think any of us expected it to be as big as it was. And not a word on the BBC. It didn't happen.
Well, two things. I'll tell you one thing. While I think on, what they should do is, as we were going up Oxford Street and that, we could hear like the crowd was slowing down.
Oh.
The crowd was slowing down, and then a unicorn jumped out from behind a car.
I'll talk about the interesting people I met. But one of the first people I met was this guy.
He's back. Hang on.
Forgot his name.
You know what it is? He needs proper internet. You need that internet like drilled right into the.
Yes, but remember, I'm going to be on the road, so.
Well, then surely there's an internet provider that can sort it out, I reckon.
Yes, I will do. I'm going to need it stronger when I'm a Gyppo there, when I'm on the Romany free.
Gypsy. Gypsy.
Sorry.
Yeah. I've got Gypsy heritage, right, Charlie?
You said what? You offended who? Who did you offend?
No, my great-great-grandfather was Jem Mace, who's the pioneer of scientific boxing and the forerunner to Queensberry rules and stuff. He was a gypsy.
Whoa.
We are not worthy.
We are not worthy. Gypsy King over here.
There you go.
So what were you saying, Charlie, before the unicorn?
Yeah, well, what I was saying was that when all the people were coming from different roads, but there was undercover police who were trying to deliberately divert the crowds down the wrong way. So I think what they should do next time is they should have designated stewards and make sure they have something like, I don't know, like a blue circle or an orange, square, something like that, so that the people going up can like shout on the megaphones and say, only take instructions from the person with the orange square or something like that.
And that's something that could happen on the day as well, because like we could just start handing that kind of hierarchical structure into play.
Exactly.
But the funny thing is about these this like movement isn't like there's a natural hierarchy, but it's not like a really strong hierarchical structure. It's a flowing community. Organic.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. It's beautiful, isn't it? It is. It's beautiful. I mean, when you get there, what a feeling when you know that you look around and there are these thousands of people all around you, and you know that you can just walk up to somebody and go, "Hello, mate," and they'll give you a hug, and everybody's singing and dancing, and it was just marvelous day. Roll on the next one.
But what I'm hearing is that the divisiveness of what goes on, it's basically like, we had that lovely day where everyone comes together, and now because of the infiltration, they're going to split it up and spread it over X amount of months. So like the big group that was there is now going to be smaller groups because of power play structures.
Mm-hmm. Or is it maybe even, are you talking about for changing the date? Because remember, they've done that before with ours. I remember when Mark, the first time, I think it was our second protest, and I didn't even know Mark had been there until I saw on the Facebook afterwards, and he was talking to two policemen, and the policeman had said, "Oh no, it's the venue's being changed, or they've cancelled it or something," and that was about a half an hour before it started. So that might have been the one where I met you, Kim. Actually, when I think about it, So this is the tricks to play, well, they'll say like, "Oh no, it's been cancelled," or "the venue's changed," or something like that. And that's what I was thinking when I saw on the thing that it's going to be where it said the 29th instead of the 15th. And all I thought was they're playing silly buggers here, that's what I thought anyway. No, I should just, I'm in my, what's the word? Lugubrious, or whatever the word is, bedroom. I've come upstairs to see if I can get a better signal. I'll have me, imagine us with me slippers on and me smoking jacket here, like no coward I am.
Charlie, how on earth did you manage to do? You must have got up at 4:00 in the morning, and you didn't get back till 2 in the morning, and you were driving, and you were having to look after all of these people who've never been before. It must have been.
A nightmare is the word I'd use for it. Yeah, never again. Never again.
You're never going to do it again, ever again.
No, oh no! I mean, I'm not going to be the bus driver. You know, it's like it's okay. Like when you're sitting there, when you're doing like sort of those miles around your feet. But it's like when you stop and like you've got to wait for everybody to get out the van. You're wanting to go for a coffee, but you're sitting and stand with the keys and everything, and then you've got to shepherd everybody around and that, you know. Hey, and playing silly buggers at Acton Station. Oh, and also, let me tell you, right? There was another one. There was,
handbags, ladies.
Can you ever?
Oh, well, we went out what there was. We got, there was where we were going to park. It was just somebody's house. And they've obviously got this arrangement where you can just, you know, like rent out your parking and everything. Of course, when we got there were two cars already on the drive. It was going to be a nightmare anyway. It was going to be like maneuvering a bloody freighter into port or something, you know. But when we got there were two cars on the drive that had obviously never been moved since 1976 or something like, you know. And these kids answered the door and they says, oh, well, my mother's just gone to the shop. She'll come back and move the cars in a minute. I thought, right, she will, like, you know. So we'd been scanned for that. They probably get 2 payments a day. So luckily we had Joyce. Shout out for Joyce, wherever she is. She saved the day. And we went round and we got like a parking space further round and then off to Acton Station. But when we got down on the station, there's more. There was like, we got on, I mean, you know, the underground, I mean, like sort of 2 to 5 minutes when you're waiting for a train. And it's only about 30 seconds to a minute before the door's shut and you're off. Now, we sat there, the train must have sat for 20 minutes. Now, all the time, of course, we were the only people there without masks on. There was a big group of us. Everyone was getting off and getting on and getting off and getting on. After about 20 minutes, we all just stepped outside, door shut, straight off. So they were obviously watching the CCTV, and as soon as we got off, boom, door shut, and they were away. Yeah. So by the time we got up there, it was about 1:20 or something, I think. But we still enjoyed the fun. It was absolutely amazing.
I think it's very difficult to try and stay as a pack. You're all going to get lost. You've got to say to everyone, look, we'll meet you at so and so at this time.
I saw you outside Downing Street, Charlie, didn't I?
Or miss.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's really good to go in from Milton Keynes, right? Because it was £20 for a return ticket, and that included the underground as well. You know, so
I know Oz was saying that, but what I was saying was there's a lot of people who are going in next time who are going into London. So I want to get in and have a little bit of a jolly up, like, you know, like before, just so I can kind of.
I think they'll do that. You know? No, I mean you can spend a Friday and a Saturday at Milton Keynes even.
See, I do like the whole like being in the back of the bus, listening to music, having a chat on with random people. I love that kind of element of what we get up to.
Yeah.
Some commentary.
Not when you're the driver, though.
Yeah, well, you're a hero, Charlie. Well done for doing that. I mean, you've introduced a lot of new people. No, I couldn't be bothered to drive.
Hello, Marion.
Well, I got to
Lawrence from Perth, Australia. Oh, Charlie's gone.
Yeah,
must have been something you said, Marion, to disturb Charlie.
Well, it's all happening, Marion. I think the uprising has started. Even David Steele, the ex-CIA bloke, said that the uprising has started and it's London. And Mark Steele said that there was just too many for the police. The police effectively had to stand down. So apart from this little thing that went on in Hyde Park near the end for the media, but the whole thing. Charlie, I was just saying, right? No, that's bad for your brain. That you'll get.
I'm trying to find a place for it. You know?
You're not plugged into the internet, Charlie, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, I'm plugged in. But I'm plugged
directly.
In.
Elon Musk. Yeah.
I'm in a silly mood today. So Wendy's said that her driver was tired as well.
It wasn't me, was it?
I hope they had a whip round for you, Charlie.
But actually, it's so far it's cost us money for petrol.
Was it actually?
Well, I don't know. You know, I'm a hero, Chris. I'll take that. That's my reward, like, you know.
Yeah. No, it was so. The whole thing was so uplifting. I mean, it's like we're in the dark. Like, who was that last caller who came in? That woman from Wendy from Perth. She's saying that you feel like you're really out of it. I mean, like Perth to us in UK, it seems like that is the other end of the world. But no, really, we feel like that as well. But once you got these gatherings and you realise that there's hundreds of thousands that understand everything, same as we do, you can talk. You don't have to. Be careful what you say. They understand everything. You just know it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, if we've got somebody on from Australia, I'd be interested to know how the situation is there. Because can you remember last year, there was Dan Andrews and the Melbourne thing, and I mean, it was really Gestapo territory.
I've seen some terrible footage from
bloody hell. And there was a girl. There was a post on Facebook the other night, and she mentioned something about, and she said, "I really feel sorry for you over in the UK." And that suddenly dawned on us when I thought, well, God, like it's just last year where Dan Andrews was like sort of having like sort of Nazi clampdown. But I think she was saying that Dan Andrews has basically just disappeared off the scene. So I don't know what's happening down in Australia. Is it kind of fizzling out? And, England, London is going to be like sort of the last place to kind of come, because the rest of the world seems to be a lot more awake. You'll see pictures and there's people out in restaurants and all kinds of stuff. But
Texas and Florida, there's whole stadiums of them playing, baseball.
Yeah.
It's all happening up there, yeah.
Absolutely crazy,
We've got in the UK, we've got one of the most restrictive censored medias in the world, because we've got the BBC, who are BBC and the Crown, who have got the mindset of the British people, very locked, and Australia too. It's all part of this same spider's net web, but
Five Eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. But and it has been really bad. Well, it's now happening to India. Have you seen the what they're putting on the BBC about that? They're showing bodies in the streets, and they're doing all the same bullshit that they did with China last year, Beijing.
Yeah, but did you know that footage that they're using is 2 years old? It was from the past week.
Utterly bullshit. I mean, I remember specifically footage from China, which was sort of bringing in the COVID narrative in the media. And I remember the footage was of people coughing to the point of collapsing in the street. Now, I've never seen one person in the UK ill with coronavirus coughing to the point of collapsing in the street. Isn't that what you would expect in a pandemic, or am I mistaken?
Well, it's this Black Death, where we're stepping over dead bodies in the street, where we're burning bodies in mass graves. Everybody knows half a dozen people who've dropped dead from this thing, queues for funerals and all the rest of it. It's the first bloody Black Death in history where you wouldn't know about it if the BBC didn't tell you. It's absolutely insane, and people just haven't got it,
Well, I did a post the other week, which was me looking at the forms that coroners have to fill out in relation to the diagnosis of a death. Okay, really morbid topic of conversation, but basically, there was a form that they had to fill out, which was a temporary form, basically implying that you don't have to do as much paperwork, you don't have to do as much legwork if you just brush it under as a COVID death. And I was absolutely screaming with shock with how easy it is to infiltrate and use that to basically, I don't know, get away with murder.
Yeah, one of the most serious crimes is falsifying a death certificate. Yet in this pandemic, it's taken for granted. GPs could just say that people had a cold if they had flu-like symptoms. I mean, can anybody think of a symptom that isn't flu-like, And then in America, I'm assuming it was the same here, it actually incentivized $38,000 to diagnose people as this Black Death, and then another $38,000 if they put them on a ventilator. When you think like sort of incentivizing people to give someone treatment when they haven't even been diagnosed, it's like sort of giving somebody authorization to give everybody CPR, and people might have broken ribs. It's just total.
They know how to play us. They've been planning this for a very long time. But whilst the BBC every bulletin, every day, all the newspapers are talking about death. There's always people dying off of old age, and they've just harvested a whole swathe of them and stuck them in the statistics. These died of COVID. But there's something now. I always like to come into the topic of health, and something I've just been thinking about this week is that people. It's bad health is not just all about viruses and infections. It's about like toxins in your body. We eat a lot of toxins, a lot of bad food, and we don't get exercise, and we're not able to detox ourselves. You're going to get ill, and you're going to get these symptoms like flu, and it's going to try and get out of the body. So put infectious things aside and just think like toxins and being healthy and eating the right food. That'll keep us healthy. I'm not saying that infections don't exist. Yeah, they do, but too much emphasis is on this dying. What about living? What about all the babies that are born? What about all the children? What about all the life? What about all the living? If the news was about these kind of things, then...
Well, I mean, isn't it ridiculous how if people... they could have had this Black Death like sort of 6 months earlier, and if they got run over by a bus, they died of the Black Death. Whereas now, if they have this jab, they'll do anything rather than attribute it to the jab. So everything's like a mirror version.
So you just met someone at the demonstration that 3 people in their family died of the vaccine.
Yeah, someone told me. Yeah, I met someone talking to him, and. He was very knowledgeable, and he just said that his wife, she lost 3 of her relatives from taking the vaccine. 3. He lost 3 of them.
Isn't it ridiculous? Yeah. And everything's just brushed under the carpet.
Yeah.
And if you were to post on social media, you get your account barred. Yeah. Under investigation. In a couple of years' time, we'll pull it up and go, "Oh well, we made a mistake. Sorry about that."
Yeah.
And I mean, nobody's reporting on the yellow card system either, obviously, or if they are, they're being discouraged from it, absolutely ridiculous. But when you were saying earlier, Chris, about like sort of the mainstream media avoiding it, interesting thing, did you see that Sky News actually had a report, and it was, they were showing the crowds coming down the street. They actually said, there are thousands of people here. They interviewed 2 or maybe 3 people, and they allowed them to air that balanced view about like sort of loss of liberty and, dangers of the jab and all the rest of it. And all they did really right at the very end, they kind of qualified it by saying, oh, yes, but this would have angered the thousands of people who've died from this Black Death kind of thing, But it actually aired the thing. So you think, is there a little... crack happening,
Well, Sky Australia is good. Sky Australia is good.
Yeah. Yes, is that so important?
I've got a comment, someone asking how many people died of the vaccine. And last time I checked, I think it was around 600 plus. You guys got any figures on that? That's not how many people have died from the vaccine. That's how many people the government have reported dying of the vaccine in their reports. So whether that's the truth or not, that's a whole nother skeptical discussion that we should be having. But just looking at their statistics, over 600 people have died of the vaccine.
There was something on a podcast the other day that I was watching, and it was talking about it was the Pfizer one had been responsible for about 35,000 deaths, and the AstraZeneca one had been responsible for something like 800,000. It was a really ridiculous figure.
So those figures, I mean, it's interesting because where do we get our information from? Because like I'm looking at the government's website, whereas that could be completely accurate and the government could be lying, right? So like maybe that's true. Maybe there are a greater number than what's being reported. Like basically the COVID cases and the COVID deaths were inflated, and then the vaccine deaths and the vaccine consequences deflated. Because that seems to be the nature of what's happening here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the way they're playing it. Exactly.
Yeah. The only truth is what we see with our own eyes and with the people we meet and what we personally experience. When we get secondhand information, and
let's be honest. I mean, we are the news. I mean, like that's not vanity or anything. We are the news. You know, there's
Who?
like where
Three Amigos?
the people. Oh, definitely. Oh, yes. In the whole world, we're the only people telling the truth. You know, but I mean, like, yeah, but you know, I mean, like, sort of, you get like sort of Michael Jaco, or you know, like Charlie Ward or Nick Van Yarman or somebody like this, and they're the only people who are actually discussing this. The mainstream media, it's as if it's just a non-issue, you know. So it is up to people like us to talk about it, you know.
Okay.
So it's like, I mean, the things happening in America, we're talking about the international situation, makes you wonder about what's happening with, there's a resurgence of the inquiry into the voter fraud, and Arizona have started the recount, you know, and all these figures are coming out.
I just want to say on that issue, sorry to interrupt you, Charlie, I've done that a number of times during this podcast, regarding the...
It's like being married, isn't it?
Regarding the voter fraud stuff, right? Because, like, as far as I'm aware, every like world leader who's ran for office has had like a huge entourage of supporters who would literally do anything to support that person. So Biden's his celebration seems to have been the most empty, the most void of like I don't know, like.
Exactly.
Willingness. Like, it's not like there's loads of people willing and wanting really badly Joe Biden to be president. It's like he's just been scripted to turn up there that day. Right, I'm president now. And nobody asked. Nobody wanted that to happen. I'm sorry, but if people were campaigning for Biden, and even if there was a pandemic like the Black Lives Matter, people still go out in the streets and they demonstrate and they go, yeah, yes, we got Trump, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
It didn't happen because the pandemic's been like a noose around society's neck in order to orchestrate certain activities, and one of those activities is to implement a new president of America, which is sitting president, Mr. Biden's time, Joe Biden.
Biden, that's right, yeah.
Joe Biden, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm amazed he's still alive.
Or as well, there's another thing. Or as Mel K calls him, Resident Biden.
Well, yeah, we got another thing. Marion, we was on a 3-day lockdown the weekend at Anzac Day on the day due to one positive Indian guy. Done the same last year. Was it a coincidence? Don't want Anzac Day. Shame on the government. They just extend wearing masks to me. What's Anzac Day, by the way? Anzac.
It's Australia and New Zealand. It's like Australia and New Zealand troops.
All right, yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
It's a bit like our VA.
I always wanted to go to New Zealand and that side of the world, you know. I just think it's probably beautiful over there.
Well, it's very difficult to get there now.
Well, from New Zealand, can I just say I loved Split Ends. And the Finn brothers over there are like sort of royalty. I think they've even got the pictures on there, the tail fins. But
this is New Zealand celebrities we're now discussing.
You're talking about the 70s. I saw Split Ends in
yes. Where did you see them, Chris?
At Middlesbrough Rock Garden, where I also saw the Sex Pistols. But yeah, I saw them in Middlesbrough, yeah.
I saw Split Ends in Leeds.
Who were you talking about? Johnny Rotten was he in the Sex Pistols?
Yeah, and
Johnny Rotten was on the BBC.
So pretty.
Do you know what? I was at school. I was 15 or 16, and I got tickets to go and see Acne Rabble, and I wasn't really into punk at that time. I was a bit more into like rock. I was a bit of more like a hippie kind of. And the moment we went in that room, the atmosphere, you just feel it. You know, the angst, the atmosphere. It was like, wow, this is in the vibration.
Bloody Johnny Rotten, right? Bless his cotton socks. Now that dude, went on the BBC, and what did he say? He said Jimmy Savile's a predator preying on young women. And what happened? He was banned from the BBC, and he wasn't allowed to appear on any BBC content. Now, what a joke is that now? What a joke is that? We should be Johnny Rotten should bloody own the BBC at this point now, right? They should have given him the keys, and it should be like, right, thanks, Johnny, for bloody saying that at the time. Wish we'd known about that as a collective a lot sooner. You know what I mean? I just wanted to tie that in because, I mean, I'm not. He's actually been a supporter of Trump, hasn't he? And I think he's probably been a supporter of Brexit. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm an anarchist.
Can I just throw something in here then? What do you think about the whole Biden situation. Now, what I mean by that, I don't know whether you follow the rabbit hole stories and that, but what the story is that the American military has actually been in charge of America for the last few months, and that the whole Biden thing is just pantomime being played out. And
but isn't every elected official a pantomime being played out? Well, that's kind of an argument there.
Well,
for me, Trump is a pantomime character. I'm sorry to say, he's a pantomime character in the sense he's the big baddie that everyone's going, boo! He's behind.
Who's this, Trump or Biden?
But no, that was the archetype. I mean, he was very popular in the rap community. He's the most referenced person in rap, because people admire his success, but he's sort of the affluent billionaire who is like sort of the playboy kind of character that people culturally didn't like, because it's kind of like he's so powerful. So then when he became president of America, a lot of people were very disappointed and sad about that. So, I mean, the thing is, with Biden now being president of America, I just see it's two sides of the same coin, really. And it's all a pantomime, as far as I'm concerned.
It is. It really is a show, because even with Trump, while he was in power, that Jarrod bloke went off to Saudi Arabia, and there was a big, massive coup there within the Saudi family. That it's the same deep state that is putting this distraction sideshow on, and the same stuff goes on. So. Really, left, right, it's a distraction. It's we've got to break away from all of these divisions, whether it be left, right, male, female.
Are you talking about the Saudi visit when Trump first came to power?
It was that one where it was so low key. It wasn't in the mainstream news. It was just there was a complete change of the Saudi.
QAnon reported on that as well. QAnon reported on those princes getting arrested. Exactly. I was just gonna say to this guy, this is getting streamed on YouTube and on Facebook, so you can comment here, comment there, wherever. In fact, if you guys want to go to our YouTube thing, you just type in Kim Drops. You can have a look there. We're getting quite a few troll attacks on the internet now, which is always fun. But on Facebook's kind of where we're doing this from, really, we've got multiple destinations on Facebook getting it streamed.
And I can't see any of the comments anyway, so I'm blissfully ignorant.
So Kim, when can we get on? When can we get on about my story about the police coming around and cautioning me today? Yeah, do you want to hear about that
today?
I think
what did they say? Tell me word for word what they said today. Chris.
Well, I've got it on video. I've recorded it all, but I've had so much go on today. I've just not had time to put it all together. But I've sent you some images. Maybe you could show a picture of the police at my door. But let me just say, Charlie, the background of what's going on here. That was me on the phone to the council. I was on that's them. They came to my door. Any more images? Yeah, that's the security guy from Hinton Security who came chasing after me this morning, and he shoved me. I went to that door because I wanted to ask them some questions, and he came out shoving me, and he says, I know all about you, Christopher, right? And he pushed me out, and he pushed me onto the road, onto the lane road.
Are you describing being assaulted, Chris?
I was being assaulted, yeah. Okay. He grabbed my arm, and I sort of wrestled away with it, and I backed away. And I was actually on the street, and the traffic stopped. It happened to be Hartburn Roofers, a guy I know, right? So I had an alibi witness there. And so I was flabbergasted. So there's a lot had been going on prior to this. Last Friday, he caught me. I have to hold my hands up. I'm guilty of this. I had a Stanley knife, and I was taking down those little COVID signs because it's a vaccine center, and I've been for the last year. I've been trying to write to everyone and to the MPs, to the councillors, to the council officials, and they all just send me this same sort of word for word garbage, and I was getting a bit frustrated. So yeah, I admit I was taking this property. And
Chris,
that guy,
you could be charged for criminal damages. You are aware.
yeah, don't worry. I know. But the police know about that. I've informed them about that, and they understand. Taking everything into account, they understand. So he came chasing after me. I dropped my Stanley knife, and he got it. So I still want it back. So anyway, this morning
you haven't got your Stanley knife back.
I've got my. Yeah, no, he won't give me it back. Right.
Yeah, let's stop the podcast. Let's go get Chris's Stanley knife back. Hang on 2 minutes.
So that was last Friday, and he took a picture of me. And then this morning, I wanted to talk to him, and he was saying, I know all about you, Christopher. So he knows who I am. Now, he's not the police; he's a security company. But how did he know who I am?
Well, the thing is, Chris, some of these police officers don't just do policing. They have like multiple roles in life.
Yeah.
And I think that's like an MP having vested interests in different things. Like bloody, what's his name? Is it George Osborne? Is that the guy I'm thinking of who then became editor of like the newspapers or whatever?
Yeah.
God, what a boring individual. Anyway, continue, Chris.
Right, okay. So he's part of Hinton Security. Now, what I understand is that the global security contract for all these vaccine centres is Serco, yeah. And Serco subcontract them to other ones. But anyway, so this guy pushed me out. He knew my name, and I thought, right, I really need to report myself to the police. So I did phone up the police this morning, and I told them the whole story about what I did and what happened to them and how he attacked me. And they said, yeah, okay, you're fine, calm down, whatever. And then I phoned the manager of the community centre, and I want to tell you the kind of things I said to him and to the email that accompanying it. Okay, let me backtrack. I'll tell you why I've been inspired to do this whole thing, right?
Should we take this photograph down now? Because we've kind of got this.
Yeah, take it down. Can you put the one up of what's she called? Lauren, what's her name? Dundas. Yeah. Leigh Dundas. Okay, so I was inspired last night by this. Have you heard of her, Charlie?
Oh,
Leigh Dundas.
She's
brilliant. She's this lawyer in Orange County, California, which is very, very Democrat.
There's a place that's been culturally amplified via media.
Yeah,
it's basically like Hollywood's sort of dumping ground is Orange County. Yeah.
Well, she uncovered. She's a human rights lawyer, and she's got a wide network, and she's been very successful in fighting back the state. And some of her people uncovered that the mayor of Orange County and the chief police had hatched this plan to work with the schools and to get these vaccine people into the schools and to bypass all the parents and bribe the children with candy and stuff to get the vaccine. She uncovered this, and she disclosed it all in a big committee hearing, and she rolled it back. And she's done a lot of this, and she's been very successful. And there's a clip. I mean, I put it there for you to play. It's about 10 minutes long. I don't know if you want to watch a little bit of it. But
I think this is just an image, Chris. I don't think I've got a video to play for this.
Oh, well, play the image.
Have you put one up? Sorry.
Yeah, no, there is one there. Play a little bit of her, right, because she's very inspiring.
For those of you who don't know, I am indeed guilty as charged, human rights attorney. And, we're all being banned faster than you can shake a stick at it. So if you want to find me, you can go to leighdundas.com. Can you hit the slide for me? That's Leigh, Leigh, because my mother had to give me extra letters, Dundas, DUNDAS.com. So what I want to talk to you about indeed tonight is the rise of freedom over the Fourth Reich. And as the gentleman before me said, freedom is not something you buy, it is something you earn every minute of the day, especially this year.
Right,
a lesser-known Holocaust.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll just
before she goes into the Holocaust.
Her parents are family are Holocaust survivors, and she makes a big thing about the cattle trucks and the people who drove the convicts to the concentration camps, who were just normal family people, but they are the people to go for. She's saying, they are complicit, and.
It was the Romani Holocaust. There is a reason my daughter is named Katya. Her Romani great-grandmother was Katerina Choma, and I, for one, have not forgotten the lessons of our history. The Third Reich did not end with experiments on children, nor when those children died. The Third Reich ended in 1946, when we put the doctors who committed these human experiments on trial in Nuremberg, and then we put them to death. It ended with the adoption of the Nuremberg Code, so we would never repeat the sins of history. And it states, and I quote, "The voluntary consent of this human subject is absolutely essential." Dr. Chow and Dr. Maharish, you are hereby on notice. Last week, you appear to have knowingly hatched a plan to sidestep and or violate international, federal, and state law, not just the Nuremberg informed consent language, but also the black letter law of the EUA, as well as California state law, which punishes, and I quote, "the willful failure to obtain a subject's informed consent by imprisonment in county jail for 1 year, or the imposition of a $50,000 fine, or both." Through the planned insertion of experimental gene-altering protocols onto the very children you were elected and charged with protecting. And tonight we are asking the Board of Education for an immediate letter of censure to these individuals. And if they don't resign, for an immediate notice of termination. And that letter also needs to go to the professional boards, because they have no business being in these positions. So help me God, the people of Orange County will hold this policy to account.
Yeah. What a speaker. Honestly, this is the thing. We need more people like that in life who know what they're talking about. Hang on a second, I'm going to round the line. People who know what they're talking about, know the context of what they're talking, like why they are talking the things they're talking about. And are passionate about the issues, man, because that makes a huge difference. I mean, think about it. When you're at school as a child, right, there's nothing worse than having a teacher who just doesn't give a crap about you and doesn't want to teach you and hates you and hates their own life and hates themselves, right? It's like the worst environment to be in. We need public officials, elected officials, who are actually like emotionally and like psychologically behind the positiveness of what we're supposed to be like as a species, people.
Well, I think this harks back again. It's like intuition. People seem to have lost intuition. The whole system is designed to brainwash people into doing what they want to do, and this is why people have great respect. And I don't mean that they shouldn't have great respect for medical experts, but what these people are, I know I've said it before and I'll say it again, there's a difference between being educated and being intelligent. And I think a huge bit of intelligence involves compassion, and it involves intuition. And if you haven't got that, you're going to be one of these order followers. It doesn't matter how so-called intelligent you are. It just means that you learn things and you'll carry it through. You'll do what you've been told. And this is like, so we've got like Leigh Dundas, who is one of these people who works on intuition, who works on compassion. But the people we're fighting against are the people who just follow orders. And
the repeaters, as David likes to call them. Yeah. We've got some more comments. I just want to say thanks to Sheila for commenting and being a viewer. Apparently she's been watching for some time, so hello. There's some other comments coming up here.
This is only the fourth show we've done, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, this week I think I'll edit out some snippets. It's quite long for a lot of people to watch.
Yes, well said.
I didn't. Put that up again, Ken.
That was funny, like last comment there.
Oh.
I like that because, exactly. It's like this is what I'm saying to the police as well. It's like, well, I could have been a police officer. I just chose not to be. I chose to do something else. You're not better than me because you're like working the law to put people in jail who you think are criminals. You know what I mean? I'm doing other shit. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm exposing people that you're not that are conning you. As a professional person, there are people conning you, and I'm exposing those people for the community at large, like other people who do the similar kind of work.
It's funny you should say that, Kim. When I phoned the police this morning, I was telling this long story. I was explaining the whole thing about the scamdemic, how it's a scam. And she said, well, what qualification do you? Are you a doctor? You know, are you a scientist or something like that? And I said, no, I've got life experience. I told her that about my brother and my experience and everything. But you don't have to be qualified.
It's like, you can go to the best school in the world, but you aren't really picking up on what's going on in reality. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just think about it when you have a kid, for example, and how you devote your energy into that part of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Most typically that happens, right? So you as an individual aren't doing other stuff like researching the things, people are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, if you're going to get busy doing other stuff in life, don't blame us for trying to make things better. What are you
Good question. Reshaping our world. It's a strange name, that reshaping our world. But anyway, can I just tell you what that lady, what Leigh Dundas is saying is that we have to go after the train drivers. She went on to say the story about all those people who went to the concentration camps and they never came out. What about the drivers? The drivers who drove them there. Those drivers were just normal German citizens who they had families, they needed work, hard times, they needed a job. They were train drivers, but nevertheless, they still drove them there. Nevertheless, they were still complicit in this crime. And she's saying we have to go. These are the people we have to go after. And Mark Steele was saying exactly the same thing this morning. He was saying he loves playing chess, right? And the way to win chess, you got to take out the pawns. You got all the pawns out. You can win the game. And this is what's inspired me today, because I thought, right, this security guy who stole my Stanley knife, right? I'm going to go and have words with him, and oh my knife. And I went and I even contacted the community centre manager saying that you're complicit. Have you done? Okay, I'll tell you the things I put in the email to him. Right. So I said, dear Mr. I won't say his name. I call for the removal of the testing unit at Hartburn Elmwood Community Centre. The reason being, number one, right, the tests are brutal and can puncture the blood-brain barrier especially of children. Number two, no risk assessment has been conducted by the Hartburn Community Centre. Number three, the high visibility notification signs and the presence of the COVID testing centre is causing alarm and distress to myself and to the Hartburn community. You notice that I put in that alarm and distress because they use, this is the, harassment, alarm and distress, Public Order Act 1986. That's what they try to do Mark Steele on, so we can do it back to them as well. Number four, there is no need or benefit to people being tested other than government control of people's innate rights. See the Great Barrington Declaration, where you'll see there's about 60,000 scientists and doctors and everything who have said that this whole lockdown thing is the way they're going about it is completely wrong. Number five, the set 7 points. Point number 5, the PCR test is acknowledged to be inaccurate and capable of showing false positive results, as explained by inventor Carrie Mullis. Number 6, the testing will be used to justify all people requiring a health passport status to travel or gain access to public areas. This is a form of enslavement. Number 7, last point, the Hartburn Community Manager will be complicit in coercion of human experimentation without fully informed consent to the public that it allures to be tested. So I've put the responsibility directly on that community centre manager, and he didn't like it. When he phoned me up, he said he didn't like it at all, and I don't like having to do it, but maybe it'll wake them up. We've got to do this now. We've got to push them now.
It's a dirty fight. And it's like you say, like the train driver thing. It's like, okay, these little rats at the top have had this idea, but it's the police who's enforcing it. So at the end of the day, you've got to go after the people with a shovel, not the people with the ideas, And this is what it is. It has to be, okay, we don't like going, sort of taking it on a personal responsibility level, but it's a dirty fight. You know, we're in a fight. I mean, let's be honest. Like as Oz would say all the time, we're in the fight of our lives. We're in the fight of our lives. You know, it's like, and that's it is. You know, like sort of. It's like so. We're right at that point, and you can't afford to be nice. You've got to. You know, you've got to get dirty. It's, and on the subject of Mark, have you noticed as well that the court case is due now?
Yes.
So when he's taken,
this video.
So that
Can I just clarify this? Because I've kind of been waiting for this news to come out because I've been following. Obviously, I speak with Mark, and I've been following what's been going on. He's been talking to a lot of lawyers and stuff. Has he posted content now claiming about the filing of the court case? Yeah?
Yes, I think he's got a date now.
So that's it. So people forget that. So initially, Gateshead Council took Mark to court. Now Mark's taking them to court, and that's officially happening, guys. Which is cool because, as we know, right, you know, the power structures at play and the cults and activities have been working really hard to kind of stop these shenanigans happening. So, you know, and also the expectation is, as a working class Geordie guy, that Mark Steele doesn't have the backing, doesn't have the funds to be able to do this. And he's rising because of the support of people in, you know, some people have donated money towards the cause, right? That's actually then, you know, that's gone in allegedly, you know, as far as my research and talking to everyone, that's gone into a specific bank account that the funds can only go into the court case. So the people who are claiming that there's some con going on here, can you please get more detailed with what you're talking about? Because right now we're just a community raising concerns. We're taking our local council to court, and you guys are saying there's some con here. Please elaborate.
Honestly, Kim, it's like it gets to the point where you get people who everybody's a shill. You know, like sort of, there's people who I know, like sort of around my social media groups, one or two in particular, there isn't one person who's escaped them thinking that they're a shill. Not one.
Well, this is why I did this post today. I don't know if you saw on my Facebook, I did a post because I'm hearing people are sort of annoyed that I'm asking for donations or whatever on Kim Drops. There's a link below there. But the fact of the matter is, like, so what if people are willing to support this work? That's their business and our business and my business. And like, you know, there's donors who, you know, who are instrumental to what's going on here. So it's not like I'm like scamming some people who are like hoodwinked or anything. These are knowledgeable community members who are supporting me, not like random people I don't know. You know what I mean? So what is...
I know we're caught in this capitalist system until we can get rid of the bloody thing, you know, and which
unfortunately I have rent to pay. I'm sorry about that. If I own my own house, I wouldn't have that situation happening, but I do.
I mean, Chris has got his lap dancing to bring his money in and that, you know, but
I wasn't born into wealth, and I've done a lot of stuff already in my adult life for free for the public, and I'm happy to continue offering stuff for free as well. If you notice, this content's free. All that's happening is there's a link so that you can possibly donate with some small funds. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal, guys. So if people are thinking that I'm some sort of shill because I'm asking for donations, try and run any community organization at all then without asking for things like that, because good luck to you then. Have you got some sort of millionaire funder backing you? I don't understand what's happening.
I mean, just to change the subject, can I just say that while I think about it, there was a quite interesting thing came out earlier on. I'm trying to think of the fella's name. He's writing a book about it. And you know the thing how Trump would always say, like, watch the water? And he did the thing with his hands, you know, where he was very deliberately drinking bottles of water and making allusion to water and water and water. Now, you know how we've been for a long time now, thinking that fluoride is the thing that is like the big danger, you know, like fluoride is the thing that calcifies the pineal gland and all the rest of it. What he's reckoning is that the big thing is deuterium in the water. And he reckons that deuterium in the water ages people. So this is what his new book is coming out with, you know.
Wait, are you telling me Donald Trump is releasing a book about water?
No, what I'm saying is
I'm getting well lost there.
No, right, okay.
Hang on, I'm thirsty. I'm just going to go and get myself a glass of water. Are you back in a minute?
You've been listening to Donald Trump, haven't you? You've been listening to that Trump guy on the internet.
I have been listening to him, yes.
No, well, obviously everything is like symbolic and everybody's talking about the symbols and 17s and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, one of the things was one of the cue drops was like, which, cue drops comes from, one of the cue drops was watch the water. That was one of the signs, watch the water. Now, there's been a lot of things where people have said where they've been looking
Hang on,
for clues.
Charlie, hang on. We're going to come back to what you're saying. Chris, can you hear me?
I can, yeah. Distilled water.
I was going to ask, just checking. Okay, distilled water. Charlie, continue.
Right. And so there was all this allusion to watch the water. So people have been watching and trying to work out what it is. Now, this fella, I can't remember his name, but he's writing a book. He was a guest of Nicholas Van Yarman this morning, and he was saying that how he's thinking that it could be a distraction, that all this time fluoride has been the distraction. So he said there's little bits of fluoride in the water there. It isn't the fluoride you have to watch for, it is the deuterium. But that's what he's saying. He's saying he reckons that deuterium has been in the water, and that's the thing. And apparently it makes you age prematurely. So he's bringing out a book or something about that and saying, have we been distracted all this time?
That explains so much of what's going on in my life right now.
You say the bags under the eyes, you say...
Every day I just feel older and I've got aches in places, and I'm thinking, bloody water.
I know what you mean, Sonny. I know what you mean.
I'm going to have to distill my water from this moment forth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like I've been distilling for about 10 years now, and it just keeps your head clear, and it detoxes the body because it's got a negative charge to it, and which pathogens and other things, it helps get a lot of the shit, metallic shit out of your body.
I feel absolutely jealous of those people who live next to natural springs. And I know in Glastonbury, for example, there's 2 different springs there.
Yeah, the magnetic one.
And I'm like, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful water.
Mm-hmm.
Buxton Spring is nice as well. We've got one near the nearest one to us, Charlie, is near the Scotch Corner, believe it or not. Spring water.
Right.
Yeah. If there's
I need a long tap. I need a long pipe on the tap, though. That's the only thing, Once I get in my van, I'll be knackered, won't I? Well, yes, I mean, it could be all this time deuteriums.
I saw a video today of somebody collecting all the dust that fell on their car with their credit card, and then getting a magnet and picking up metallic little bits of dust.
I've been doing that recently as well.
Yeah.
I've been getting me things mixed up. Say metallic, and I'm the same. Must be the deuterium in the water.
Anyway, I digress. Carry on, Chris.
No, it's in the chemtrails. It's in the.
I'm only 17,
And there's lithium in it as well. What does lithium do? Lithium makes people suicidal or something. Or I don't know. It's not good though.
Look, I think it's not crazy to look at the water supplies in your communities and making sure it's safe and drinkable and there's nothing being added. I think that's not crazy. That's just clever and considered. And it's also good if you are one of these types of people who believe that recycling is a good thing to do. Well, if you've been doing recycling, have you actually verified that it's being done to your liking? Maybe there's a private company, or maybe you need to book something specifically to make sure that your waste is being disposed of in the way that you want. These are just community things that people should be sorting out. It's what a functioning community does, because over time these issues need vetting, they need looking at. It's not a wild thing for our community to be skeptical of shit getting pumped in the waters. We're a community, it's a vital part of what's going on in our community.
I found out. I looked into this a few years ago. I looked into this at our council. They started this separating our things into plastic and.
You're thinking along the same lines as me.
Yes, I know. Yeah, we think like Charlie, and it gets very confused. I put this one, that one, and they change it and stuff. And I found out that our council, at least 3 years ago or so, they're just chucking it all in the same. They're just chucking it in the same big fill. landfills, or they're exporting it. They get subsidies to export it to places like India and China, and and Africa, and they're just dumping and polluting it. And but they're making us do all the separation because they've been told that they'll get a revenue stream from being able to fine us for putting the wrong thing in the wrong bin.
Do you know what it reminds me of? If you walk around, sometimes if you walk through some areas of Newcastle, you'll see like on low walls, there's like the where they've sawn off the fence. Where they've got like little studs along like the low wall. And basically what it was during the war, and it was like, during the war, we've got to give all the metal in to make all the, all the things and that. And that was all a con as well.
War effort,
it was the war effort. It was just to make people think that they were contributing. It's all just this, psychological
like wearing masks. And,
it's all
same old nonsense.
Yeah, it's all conditioning.
What else did I put on the description for this video? Have I missed anything off?
Where have you been?
What have I missed off? What have I missed off here? I'm sure there's something. Yeah, the accusation of shills. I mean, the thing is, right, it's good to remain skeptical and it's good to vet people in your community. That's an ongoing process. That doesn't stop. Okay, you should remain skeptical about people. Things change as well. Circumstances change. So, I mean, I'm not going crazy. Someone calls me a shill or whatever, or someone calls someone else a shill or whatever. I listen to it and I consider it for myself on a case-by-case basis. If there's a clear pattern of someone doing things in the community that we find disruptive, we don't like, we can voice our concerns. It's not a big deal.
And the best thing is to confront them to their face directly, like I did with Mark Steele. I heard stuff about him, about his past. I confronted him directly, and I could tell from his response that whatever happened in the past, it doesn't matter. It's who the person is here and now,
exactly.
because anyone can. That's
why I wrote that article about Mark, Chris, just in line with what you're saying.
Yeah, anyone can people can have a bad life, but they can have an epiphany, and they can rise very rapidly, like a game of snakes and ladders. Life is a game of snakes and ladders, and
I don't even think they need to have an epiphany, to be honest. I mean, I think the thing is, we've talked about this before, where in the old normal, like the old normal, we had this like two-dimensional image of people where they were deliberately. I mean, you look on the news now, it's still the same way, where they basically just get people to put on as an image. And all they are is a PR representative. They're nothing else, and they make sure that these people look good on screen, more puffy love, and, so everybody looks good, nice, strong teeth and clean and all the rest of it. And they deliver everything to the narrative that the mainstream media wants them to do. And they've got an army of PR behind them who are cleaning up behind them. You wouldn't be able to find anything about these people. And we're now still trying to put that criteria onto the people representing us. So you'll get like people who'll criticize Kate for things like, I mean, the most bloody ridiculous things, like when we were, okay, maybe, narcissism, whatever it is, it doesn't make any difference.
We all have personality traits that fit into things.
You mean Kate Shamarani?
Kate Shamarani, yeah. So you get, I mean, everybody's accused. You've got Kate, you've got Piers, you've got Mark, the list endless. And but people have to learn.
Me?
Yeah, Kim, yes.
You stormed the capital in America, Chris.
Yeah, but it was us that started it, Chris, remember? And it was us that started it. But we've got to learn that, like, sort of the people that represent are just normal people like us, We don't have to be like sort of young, strong-jawed people, who've been eaten and all the rest of it, We can just be normal people, So, and I think that's what it is. People expect that if these people don't conform to that old order image of what a representative should be, then they think, oh, there's something wrong here. There isn't. It's just the normal people now representing. We're not these images,
Do you know what, Charlie? Society needs our elders. Communities that respect their elders live longer, and they pass on wisdom that the rest of society don't necessarily have.
That's why I'm talking to you guys.
Yeah, and that's why it's good to have you with us, Kim, because like
I'm actually gone now in disguise.
But do you know there was this in Africa, there was a big cull of all these elephants once, and they killed off all the old ones, and there were just these young sort of elephants, and they were getting violent, and they were wrecking villages and stuff like that, and they were just going berserk. And then this zoologist realized that it was because they didn't have any elders, so they brought in these old elephants from another state somewhere, and it immediately calmed the whole elephant community down because they had some elders there.
So as far as I understand with the culture of what goes on with elephants, who are very intelligent beings, I may add, elephants have a matriarchal system, and the males, once they've like bared kids or like basically impregnated the herd, they bugger off by themselves to live a destitute life of solitude. Yeah.
Sounds great. Yeah.
Have a world trip by Peace Beach, Hey man, I'm on, yeah. Rogue elephant.
Rogue elephant. Rogue elephant is a good. Rogue elephant's a good podcast name. We should have gone with that, guys.
Okay. Anything else we need to cover, or are we just going anywhere now? Are we talking about anything? Anything goes.
Sorry, I just wanted, because I'm a big fan of elephants. What can I say? They're intelligent creatures.
Do you know they listen through their feet?
That tonight.
Did you know, Kim, that elephants can listen to? They can hear from 3,000 miles away through their feet, through the ground. Very low frequencies.
Also, it's like they're walking on high heels as well, because their heels are so thick. The pressure is on the front, so it's like they're in women's high heel shoes.
Also, as far as I'm aware, I think they're the only animal with 4 knees.
I don't know.
Have a think about that. I think that's correct. You know, like most animals, like if you think of a camel or a horse or a dog or whatever it is, and they've got
horses
like
knees, don't they?
No. Think of its back legs.
Horses don't have knees.
They go out towards the back. You know what I mean? Like if you think of a dog, you know, like the thing points out backwards, but an elephant has actually got 4 knees.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll stick that one out into the ether and see if anybody comes back with that. Eh?
My dad always said that a camel was a horse designed by a committee. But camels are wonderful. Camels have got 2 eyelids. You know, when there's a sandstorm, they close an inner eyelid, and when they sleep, they close the outer eyelid, and they can.
Isn't it true that did camels not come from Australia as well? There's something that.
Oh no, they got introduced there. And
they got introduced to Australia from right. Yeah.
They now have to.
That makes more sense.
Have to cull them every year because they've just gone completely.
I just want to say that London looked fantastic, guys. It looked like you had a fantastic time, Chris. It's really unfortunate that you're having to deal with the police right now, but you're the master of your own universe. Do you know what I mean? So with my court case, I'm looking forward to being able to talk about these issues in a courtroom. So if you're going to be doing activities which may lead you to being in court one day, you know, make sure you're passionate about what it is that you're talking about. Otherwise, like, because that'll come through in reality. Do you know what I mean? Just don't get caught up in something silly that you're like regretting. Because I mean,
the knife.
I don't know the full story of what's gone on with you in this instance, but I know that you're not the kind of person to go and commit criminal damage in a light-hearted fashion. You're not some sort of youth thug in a gang. You're someone who's a very considerate, smart person. So, I mean,
yeah. Can I just say? I do regret that, and I've got told off, not least by my wife, and I feel a bit. I think it was a stupid thing to do, you know, But now I know there's. I would not recommend anyone do this, you know, sort of take off the signs and everything, because there's a better way to do this, and the better way to do this is to write directly to these pawns, and just tell them this stuff. Just tell them and make them responsible. They don't like it. They don't like it, and it's legal. And
well, what it is, people don't like having their worldview changed.
Yeah.
That's what I'm noticing with basically a lot of people. They just don't like. They will literally go anywhere other than accepting their worldview having to change. You know, I left feminism. I was a feminist, man. I was like a proper feminist, and then I left feminism just simply by understanding the complexities of what men are experiencing in reality and looking at those issues. I'm like feminism isn't supporting these issues, like isn't helping out with certain issues like circumcision, for example. I did a great hour-long interview with a guy who's campaigning to end circumcision, right? It's a male-specific issue. I mean, obviously there's women who are campaigning with them, but it's the genital mutilation of young infant boys, right? Which isn't okay. Like if we're advocating for the human rights and autonomy and conscious beings who can make decisions for themselves, we can't be imposing these ritualistic, cannibalistic activities, which is what we're witnessing with the circumcision cults that are existing.
You bring up another interesting topic as well, the emasculation of men. This is a big issue, you know. I mean, like at the rallies when we go there. I mean, I think now it's changed. I think in London, I didn't really notice that there was a great gap in the ratio, but I know certainly when we all first started out on this journey over a year ago, all women, you know. And I think that's to do again with what we're talking about, like sort of this indoctrination of the emasculation of men, where you'll get like a man would be like a typical working class bloke is basically organized by his wife or his mother, you know. So it gets to a point where even I would imagine like their job, the wife or the mother will probably say, oh look, there's a job here for such and such, there's an interview on Thursday, go over that. And then it'll be like sort of they'll be organized when they go on holiday, you know, like they leave it to the wife or the girlfriend to organize the passport and the hotel and the money and all the rest of it. And they just become so familiar with having someone to look after them and say, right, sign on this dotted line and put an X there, that it completely it absolves them of any responsibility for any critical decisions. So they're so used to people telling them what to do. And this is the danger, I think, that we've got at the moment, where the women have got pardon my French, far bigger balls than the men.
You can swear as much as you want, mate. Fuck,
yeah.
Cunt,
fuck. Bastards, okay. You little bastards.
I'm sorry, this isn't for children, this content, so go ahead.
Well, yeah, so I mean, like, I think this is the problem that we face. It's like, it's trying to get, like, sort of men to, I don't want to say man up, that sounds so barbaric, but I think it's like, it's just getting people to stop being reliant on someone else and to start, you know, like going back to like the Leigh Dundas thing, you know, to rely on instinct, you know, like there'll be a lot of people, a lot of lawyers, even human rights lawyers and things who won't be as passionate as her because she feels it, you know, and she's lived it.
I mean, she's got generational angst, I would say, in relation to atrocities. This is the thing, because like Gina Carano getting like cancelled because she's comparing what's happening now to what happened in the Holocaust. But I'm sorry, that the reason that it's important to remember the Holocaust is so we don't do those things again. So how can you criticize someone for basically reflecting and comparing things to the Holocaust? That's a frame of reference that we can all kind of agree on. I mean, there are obviously conspiracy theories about what happened with the Holocaust. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not hard sold on that stuff. I'm still looking into that stuff myself. I do feel like it is a bit convenient how they want to blur race and religion, and to criticize the religion of Judaism is somehow bad or racist.
She was Romanian, by the way, and it was a lot of Romanians, a lot of gypsies, just a lot of all kinds of. But the mainstream news always say, "Oh, it was the Jews. It was the Jews. It was 6 million Jews." Well, I questioned the 6 million thing, but there was a lot of people, and there was a lot of Jews, but
not just Jewish people, black people, disabled people, gypsies, gay people. They persecuted a lot of different types of people, and some of disabled people are still being persecuted today. I'm sorry, they are.
Oh, they are.
You see people who are mask exempt, who but probably are still hoodwinked by the whole shenanigans, right? Who are just literally exempt from wearing masks because of maybe autism or maybe trauma-related issues or whatever, and they're being persecuted in public in front of everybody just for being a bit different. And because people don't understand when people are different, and they're judgmental when people are different, it's really negative. And disabled people are being persecuted, and they have been for the past couple of years, very bad. Like no mask, no entry. I mean, that's basically it's like, and also when the libraries were shut, there was no internet. Like it was basically like saying, if you don't have the internet and you don't have access to a phone, you're on your own.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, ridiculous, man.
What about deaf people? Deaf people who need to lip read. We met a young girl in Bradford, and she was deaf, and she was speaking. She really wanted to make her presence known there, and me and Sean, we met her, we gave her a hug, and it was just wonderful that she just went on her own to voice her opinion that, her community, she said her friends had committed suicide. It was just terrible how the deaf people were being treated.
I have said from day one to the police, when I've been arrested, when I've been in police custody, when I've been speaking with police officers on a one-to-one basis in relation to what's been going on with me, I've said many times, look, you need to ask for clear masks. You shouldn't be physically putting the mask on in that uniform. You shouldn't be doing that, man. If you're a police officer or if you're someone influential,
advisor,
wear the visors, okay, so you can see your face. Otherwise, you're a thug with weapons in the community who, I'm sorry, but that's what we're witnessing now.
Well,
it's thugs hiding their identity, committing crimes, and we don't know who's who.
It's all good.
If you're a police officer, you should be a beacon of light. You should be a beacon of joy, helping people in the community. You should be of service. Okay.
Well, we know that.
Self-serving with the mask on. You're self-serving because there are other ways. There are other ways. There's clear masks, and people can be creative in designing masks that don't get steamed up or whatever your excuse is going to be. Okay. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. Deaf people can't hear you. That's why they lip read you. As a police officer or an emergency person, or even as a professional person, maybe you're just you're showing people around houses or whatever it is that you're doing in your life, right? As a professional, autonomous human being, wearing a mask alienates you and distance you away from certain members in the community, including deaf people, and it's not okay.
I mean, on I'm wandering off at a tangent here, but it's related to what we're saying. People probably are all aware now that police aren't there to serve us. They're part of a private corporation. So I think everybody knows that now. These are the kind of things that I think everybody, certainly within our community, they could probably, tell you about common law as if everybody knew it. But most of the people out there won't realize that,
I just had a fantastic conversation today, Charlie, with people who, I would describe as sort of normies. Do you know what I mean? And they were so engaged with the stuff that I'm saying. I'm really looking forward to going back with those guys and telling them more stuff about the research I've been doing, because that's the thing. Just because they haven't got round to it yet doesn't mean they're not going to eventually. Okay. I was like them, and then because I'm just one of those people who decide to do research or decide to go into this area, it's like bam, bam, bam. I wanted to learn the truth. I wanted to debunk conspiracy theories. I have the tools. If these conspiracy theories can be debunked, I have the tools to be able to do that. Okay. I do. So I went in there trying to debunk the conspiracy theories. Now, as a 28-year-old adult, in reality, I'm now debunked conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Going around undebunking debunked conspiracy theories.
That's a double neck.
Oh, Kim, can I just say that I've just noticed there's comments here from Lee's Lab. He's the friend of MC Tool. But anyway, Leigh, I think he's a good guy. He's a bit misled. Well, he's a bit. I think he means well. No, Leigh is just saying, "Are you a flat earther?" Can I just say something about the flat Earth kind of thing? Right?
It's a fun thing to talk about. Is the Earth flat? Is it a globe? That's a fun thing. Stop stigmatizing people who think differently to you.
Yeah, okay? Yeah. No. It's just that I prefer to see the universe as through the perspective of being a globe, right? But I have huge respect for people who are flat Earth, right? Because they are critically thinking, they are observing, and they are coming to their conclusions through their own thoughts. Know what they're told. So there is absolutely no conflict between globists and flat earthers. Not at all. A lot of my friends are flat earthers, and I respect the way they think. And it's a different way of looking at the same thing. At the end of the day, if you consider that it's all one big matrix in any case, it's not worth. It's not worth. This is another division. This is another division that we don't need to go down.
I'm happy to talk about flat Earth. I've spoken to Nathan, who's Nathan Oakley, which is a very prominent flat earther. I interviewed him. Okay, I believe the Earth is a globe. Okay, but other people believe it's flat. What a fantastic way, a meeting of the minds, to have a long, informed debate about something that we're passionate about, literally where we are in reality and what is going on. Now, although I say I'm a proponent of the globe, I'm actually a bit more abstract than that, to be honest. I think it's more dimensional. I think we're in some sort of dimensional hologram kind of thing, and it could be both at the same time. It could be flat and a globe.
Yeah.
Why are you limiting yourself?
There are really strange things about that. I mean, the first thing that I would say about that is the fact that the people who go for the science, it's the same as anything else. If you don't agree with the book, the rule book that they've written down, then all of a sudden you're a nutcase. Your argument ends there. You don't have any more say in the thing. Whereas like someone who would be a proponent of flat Earth would be much more open-minded and would actually listen to your perspective. So, I mean, like you got like two things. I mean, the one thing from like a globe Earth, a one that would, that really it's difficult to get round, like saying it as a globe Earth, is when you go from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere, the way the stars change, the way the skies change, and really only a globe would explain that. But the other
this is the kind of things I would love to get some of these influential flat earthers and put stuff to them, because I know that community is infiltrated. I know the flat Earth society's controlled opposition, blah blah blah. I know that stuff, right? It's obvious. But the problem is that we want to be having these lovely debates because it's actually interesting, right? Because the thing is, like, I've looked at this, and I'm sorry to say it's not that obvious. And one of the biggest proponents of why people believe the flat Earth is because of how stupid some of the globe people are with what they come out with. Like, you can see the curvature of the Earth from an airplane. Like, I've seen the curvature of the Earth. And it's like, well, how come like the top scientists in the world saying it's actually impossible to see the curvature of the Earth from any aircraft? You'd be lucky from a spaceship to see the curvature of the Earth because of how big the Earth is, allegedly, right?
The fascinating thing is, I mean, like, sort of, for people who don't know, like, the flat Earth argument is, if you look at a flat Earth, and strangely enough, the United Nations flag is the flat Earth flag. If you look at the flat Earth flag, then what it means is you've got, like, right in the center of this circle, you've got, like, the Arctic. And then you've got like Europe and Russia, and then you've got the continent of America on the other side. That would make Antarctica and completely encircle the globe. And the thing is, the most restrictive part of the planet is Antarctica. And
well, this is the weird thing. So what? So people who are like shaming flat earthers, can I ask you, like, do you think it's okay then for the Antarctica to basically be like resilient, that no one can ever visit there, go on holiday there, can ever like have an expedition there without having to be like guided by police escorts? Like, what is going on in Antarctica? There are private islands. There are private islands linked to human trafficking. What is going on in the world? We're still trying to come to terms with what's going on in reality. And you guys are shaming people just because they think differently to you.
Kim, so some people some people are saying that the Nazis collaborated with some alien race, and this alien race are on the Antarctica. And
another great thing we could talk about forever. You know what I mean? like, I'm so happy that there's all these different things in the truth community that we can come to and go, hang on a minute, what is going on with that? I mean, I'm a proponent that basically there's cults in action, right? And these dominance cults can sometimes be very technically savvy, okay? And some of them are watching the stream with us here today, some of these cult members, okay? So basically, you know, these ideas of aliens, I would replace that label, because again, we're getting stuck up with labels. I would replace that label with high-tech cults, and we're sort of similarly pointing in the same direction. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Alien from me, different from me, alien to me, yeah? Cult members, psychopaths, sociopaths.
It's very strange, isn't it, as well? Like, sort of, there's a lot within our community about when we talk about spirituality and the difference between spirituality and religion. Now, I mean, for me, I come from, I mean, recreationally, not academically, from like a science background. So I've had my world turned upside down this last year, but I'm still stuck in that zone where, you know, like if somebody had said to me a year ago about like sort of, do you give any credibility to flat Earth? I would have laughed at them. Not anymore. Everything is off the table, you know, and it's like everything changes now. So it's bizarre, but one idea that I've got, right, and this is the way I think about like sort of with religion, right? Say if you get this, right? I'll talk about there's like different spheres of consciousness or cognizance. Now, what I mean by that is, if you imagine like an earthworm is quite a simple organism, and it's really it's responding to external impulses. It's not really thinking. Yeah, it's just being stimulated to do certain things by heat and light, whatever, you know, but it works for it. Now, you think about a bird watching the worm. Now, the bird is aware of the worm, and it's aware of where it's going, and it's aware of where its surroundings are and all the rest of it. Now, when you think about us watching the bird and the worm, now the bird knows that we're there, but only in like kind of the aspect of we're part of its environment. And I don't think it sees us as anything more than that. So you have these different spheres of cognizance. And I think it's arrogant to assume that we are the outer sphere of that cognizance, and there must be something beyond that. Now, I mean, I know a lot of people think about it as God, or, you know, and I don't know, but I certainly believe that we're not the outer realm of this cognizance, shall we say, you know?
I do agree, Charlie, that I think it's a bit arrogant to assume we're the only cognitive like creatures, you know,
at the top.
I do think that is arrogant. But what I would say, though, if there are other galaxies or other aliens from other galaxies, or like if there are aliens, I think that they should be transparent, and I think they should be aiming to not transparent as if like you can see through them. I mean, like don't be hiding that you're.
We knew what you meant.
Yeah. Can I come in on that point, Kim? It's very interesting. Earlier on, we mentioned about elephants, how their world is in a very low frequency, and how other animals are very, very high frequency.
Yes.
And who's not to say that there are other beings that are completely outside of our range that we have no interaction with at all? So now,
I kind of believe that, Chris. To be honest,
when we've got the whole Earth. We've got a whole ecosystem of that.
Whole Earth, you mean? The whole Earth?
Yeah, we've got. Okay, you've got the whole ecosystem of diversity of the ecosystem. Then we are one like powerful kind of entity, just like, you know, like our gut. There's lots of different. There's lots of different life within our gut. You pick up a piece of soil. If you pick up a piece of like compost and you look close at it, there's like a whole universe in there. So it just goes on, and it goes on and on. Now,
I actually really do genuinely believe that to be true. But that's what I'm saying about dimensional stuff then, because it's like, we're kind of limiting ourselves, because it's like when we're imagining an alien, it's like we've got this imprint into our brain. But like, I believe in cults, and if there are aliens, then I bet they're in cults as well. You know what I mean? Like in cliques,
Well-
and there's rivalries in amongst them. That's what I think. And
Okay,
I want to get back to the limbic system of the brain. The limbic system of the brain totally ties into this, okay? Because that's kind of like what people are worshipping, like their own limbic system of their brain in these cults. They're appeasing their limbic system of their brain by doing nefarious things, whether that's because they've got some weird blood fetish, or they can't get an erection unless they kill someone kind of people, right? They're absolutely messed up. And it's like they're worshipping the limbic system of their brain. Like there's an ideology about that. I'm definitely sure that that's happening in reality.
Come on, just like sort of a little bit going into when we're talking about that interdimensional thing. When a lot of people think, you know, these bloody interdimensional people, they can't be what they're talking about, you know. And but it's like what you would term as classical science. Have you heard of the double slit experiment? You know,
Yes.
Yeah. You know,
Quantum. Quantum mechanics,
Yes, you know, so you get like sort of the idea. And the thing that always got me about quantum mechanics was the fact that you do get things like aliens or a psyop. Well, that actually could happen. That actually
they could be,
happen.
yeah.
That's hilarious. Someone
Have
who's
you
got
heard?
flat Earth in the
Yeah,
title
have you heard-
saying
have you
aliens
heard
are.
Yeah, have you heard of Project Bluebeam? I think we might have mentioned this actually. But anyway, I digress. So the double slit experiment in quantum mechanics. The thing that's built into quantum mechanics are these ridiculous things for a start. Like you have the uncertainty principle. You know, like Heisenberg, when they introduce an uncertainty principle, you know, the clues in the name, you know? Yeah.
Exactly, dude. So like when you're looking at matter and you're looking at these electrons, and it's like they're in two places at once.
Yeah,
The natural laws don't apply at some level. I totally see what you're
Until
saying.
we observe it, it doesn't exist.
Well,
Exactly.
this is
Schrödinger and his cat.
Schrodinger's cat.
Schrödinger cat
So
thing.
I
I mean,
think-
that's just an analogy to Ken, you know, the cat in the
But
box.
that's the thing. What's going on with the truth community as well is that like I've got areas of research that I've talked about in public, and it's like I'm like basically opening Schrodinger's cat every time I come to a conclusion. I'm like opening Schrodinger's cat. Oh, and like people, I'm like, is it dead or alive? Oh, it's alive this time. Okay, is it dead or alive? It's dead. Oh, you know what I mean?
And then we'll get into the Mandela effect.
Ooh, yeah.
That's an interesting one, yeah. Hey, can I tell you?
People remembering things wrong. That's
Can I
what
tell you an interesting? Oh yeah, I was telling you, Charlie, the other week when we were in Bradford about Mark Devlin was telling us about this Mandela effect. He was doing this thing about all these old Bond films, and do you remember, Kim? Do you remember?
Yes.
Have you seen the Bond film where the character Jaws falls out of the sky and he lands on this tent and he meets this little pretty girlfriend, right?
I know the Mandela effect.
And you know, Jaws had those big teeth, and she opens, she smiles, and do you remember her teeth? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the thing.
Well,
This
no,
is the
don't
Mandela
tell me.
effect.
What was it with her
Mandela
teeth?
effect. I know
She
what
had
this is.
braces on her teeth. Yeah. Everybody I know remembers that that Jaws found this girl, and she had braced teeth, but it doesn't exist anymore. If you order an old VHS cassette of that Bond movie, she doesn't have it anymore. She's got normal teeth.
That's because where these parallel realities are shifting, right? That's kind of what the evidence is suggesting. So I would say a great test would be in chat. People who are in chat, you know, trolls and everyone.
Braces, yeah. Thank you, Anthony.
If you're in chat, right, I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to answer as quickly as possible. Don't think too much about it. Just give me the first answer off the top of your head. How many states are there in America? Answer, please. How many states are there in America?
Come on, Craig. Come on, Sheila. Come on, Effie.
How many?
Oh, he must have gone. Right.
Well, you guys, how many states are in America? You know this chart.
52, I think.
So you said what, Chris?
52.
52. How many are there, Charlie? Because we've covered this.
50.
There's 50. Why is it then that loads of people, basically the majority of people you ask,
and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why that is. Well, you know, like sort of, the way you remember is Hawaii 5-0. That's why they call it. It was the last American state, Hawaii 5-0.
Ah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but a lot of people, what they do is they forget, because like Hawaii was the last state, but people think that there was Hawaii, then there was Alaska, then there was Puerto Rico or something like that, you know, and that's why people get the 52.
And also because of the deck of cards, probably because there's 52 cards in a deck. And also like I remember in Friends there's an episode where they discuss this issue, and I've like remembered it 52, and I'm like, that's great.
Was that the episode where they were trying to remember, where Ross was trying to remember all the states?
Yeah.
And then he was putting them all down. Then he said, I can't remember which one he said.
They also refer to the UK as the 51st state.
That was a song. That was
on the Friends one when Ross was putting them down. I can't remember which one he said. But then Joey says, "Hey, come on, dude, you can't just make stuff up." So he didn't even realize that, like, one of the, I don't know what he said, Arkansas or something like that, you know, he just, "Hey, dude, you can't just make stuff up," you know. So
I digress anyway. Back to where we were, children, what we were talking about.
Right. So we're some weird, like, people on the internet who talk about things that other people just think we're absolutely nutters for. But really what we are key members in a community that is active, that is basically researching and learning every day. Can you guys tell me something that you've learned recently?
Who, us or them?
You. Tell me something that you've learned recently that you didn't know before.
How recently? I learn stuff every day.
Yeah, I know.
The most recent thing, then.
Well, you know, on Tuesday I was at this permaculture farm that I go to, and you have to work with the land. And I needed to prepare a bed. We try not to till the land. It's like what's it called? It's just no dig kind of policy. And so I wanted to prepare this bed for to do put the brassicas in, and I thought, how can I do this without that it had gone rock hard, right? I thought, what's the permaculture way of doing this without digging and turning it over? Then I thought, yeah, I know. I get the cardboard and I put loads of cardboard on it and I pack it down, right? And that will make the the water underneath. It will, using capillary action, it will come up and it will soften it at the top. Right, and that will soften it so it will break up easily. And then what we'll do is I'll put most on top of the cardboard, and then and then put the plants and stuff in it. But I'm working with the land, because permaculture, right? You learn something every day, and you're not learning from teachers. You're learning from the earth, right? This is the way forward, people. This is the way forward. Permaculture.
And also, have you noticed clever birds? So what they do is they'll tap on the ground very quickly. And what they're doing is they're replicating the sound of rain, so it makes the worms come up. They're dead clever as well, like corvids, not corvids, corvids, like ravens and blackbirds. I remember, like, I knew they were bloody clever, like, but there was one lad I knew, when he says him and his mate were doing a job, and they noticed that these blackbirds, there was like a dish, and they kept going and putting stones in the dish. And they didn't know what the hell they were doing. And then they realized it was when it rained, the water would be nearer the top so they could drink it, you know. And they're the only animals that use, well, I mean, I know like chimps do and that sort of, but they use like tools to get things out. So they'll actually make a hook so they can get things out of a bottle and that, you know. They're clever. Sharks are a lot cleverer than people think they are as well. They've done tests in tanks. You know, because people tend to think that, like, sharks are just like, you know, like, so all they do
that again, Charlie.
And people would just think they were like sort of just little. All they did was they just ate and made other little sharks, like, you know. But they've done experiments in tanks, and apparently they're a lot cleverer than they think they are as well. Like, you know, they're not.
Well, something's fishy going on with sharks, like, for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, plus the fact you kind of tell them you're thick, or they'll just do what you fucking don't do it. Like, for anybody who's wondering, I couldn't get a signal, so I'm come up lounging on my bed here, so I'm looking very lugubrious, you know.
Your super deluxe king size bed there, Charlie.
Oh, it is, yes, definitely. Plenty of room to move around on my own.
Okay, what's happening in the future then?
The future. I'm not a fortune teller, unfortunately. Unlike the COVID scam. I'm not a fortune telling forward.
Okay, Kim. This is something I heard someone say at the weekend. You know, all these wonderful people we met down at the
London.
the Uprising.
London, having a party with all my friends.
Landon, all the cockneys.
I met this really interesting guy. He was just a young lad from Leicester. He was only about 22 or something. He was so much wisdom, and he's into like dancing, and he's at a dance studio. He was saying that if you're thinking about the future, you get anxiety. If you're thinking about the past, you get depressed.
Whoa! Historians are really depressed. Is what you're telling me.
But if you're in the moment now, you're completely light and happy.
Now, isn't that's something I've said? You know, like sort of, I'd always lived my life, like sort of thinking about what am I going to be doing in the next 5 years, the next 10 years, and like planning your life out. And one thing that this situation has done for me is I do live in the moment. You know, I don't really think any further than next week or something, you know, or... You know, I mean, obviously, I've got the idea in my mind about London and all the rest of it, you know, like the next thing. But it's quite liberating, actually, you know, like sort of not to put that stress on yourself. And it makes you feel what it must be like not to be in the slave system that we're part of, you know.
Yeah, Charlie, Craig is asking us, Chris and Charlie, what do you do for work?
Remember, guys, that some of these accounts aren't functioning, you know, like community people wanting to know the truth. Some of these people, not all of them, but some of them are basically just trying to derail the thing. Like, Craig, no offense, mate, no offense, dude, but you have got a reputation as a troll. You know, I'm just letting you know that. Well, so when you comment, it's like, do I really want to read this? Okay, go on, continue, guys. But yeah.
Okay. No. Well, I was just going to say, Craig. I'd love to be retired. I'm 60 last month, but I've got a business, playground surfacing, and I would love to be able to offload it, but I can't see that happening in the near future. So I'm self-employed, doing a business. And if anybody wants to buy the business and take it over, I'd be glad to train them up and let them do it. What about you, Charlie?
I'm an international arms dealer in my spare time, you know, and do a little bit of pimping on the side and, you know, sod all at the minute. Technically, I'm a driving instructor.
Yeah, you're a driving instructor, dude.
without any work. So I'm thinking of moving into online guitar tuition. So that's something I could maybe use one of you dudes as a like sort of a guinea pig to see how it works.
Okay, you know, I did a bass guitar course with a guy called Scott. Yeah,
right.
I'd love to do that again.
Mm-hmm.
I love the music theory because it's just so interesting how harmonies work and all these things like augmented fifths and stuff like that. Fascinating.
This is the thing. It's like sort of when you play. So I mean, I never had a music lesson in my life, so I kind of learned how the things worked. Then started to listen to people talking about the like the mathematics of it. You know, so when you talk about like minors and major fifths and perfect fifths and all the rest of it, to me, it's like sort of a bit like I kind of know what it is in here. But you know, like in here,
we were going to start a band, Charlie. Do you remember when we were meeting playing music? I think we should probably continue that kind of thinking because you and me both enjoy playing music.
Yeah, I've got a bass there.
You play bass, Chris? Or you just
Well, I'd like to. I like to when I get time. Yeah.
You should
you're thinking on them.
Hey, we could call the band the Three Amigos Northeast and just have it the three of us.
Apparently, my friend. Apparently, my friend Spanner told me today there's a Teesside band called the Three Amigos, and they're like a 90s kind of... Yes. Well, it could be more...
There's nothing original anymore, folks.
No.
Sorry, the universe is full up. There's no more original ideas.
We could do that. So you play bass then, Chris, do you?
Well... When I was younger, I used to play saxophone. Yes.
I've got a
Cooler than the bass,
saxophone,
dude.
but I can't play it.
Mark Steele plays saxophone as
I
well,
know,
apparently.
I know.
Yeah.
Mark Steele plays saxophone.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
He
I'm going to
plays-
ask him to teach me.
Holy why aren't we getting this band on the road?
I know. We've got to do that. Can you remember, Kim? We were trying to get him to like sort of, we're wanting to do a video with him, like sort of where he'd come on and you'd like sort of have these cartoon like sort of ears and like sort of, we're gonna kill your fucking kids, you know, and like this music with the eyes and everything, you know. Or we could have him as like sort of a lounge lizard playing his sax, you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
5G's going to kill everyone.
Yeah.
5G lights toxic to biology.
A harbinger of-
Freedom!
and on the saxophone, the harbinger of death. You know, gonna kill your fucking kids. Oh, yeah. We're gonna have a
Gated
little.
council trying to gag me.
Aye.
I'm sticking this saxophone in my hands.
That's it. You see, aye.
Yeah.
We didn't
okay.
know that, so then
How
we've
much?
got a trio.
How much are your lessons then, Charlie?
Hey, well, you can do a favor for me sometime. You know what I mean? You kind of get what I'm talking about. Yeah. No, that's it. It's all barter now. You say everybody does something for somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah, no
But
idea.
I can teach you how to play. Do you want to learn how to play the bass?
I do. Yeah.
Right, I'll teach you how to play the bass.
Yeah.
It's really easy to be able to play the bass. You just stand at the back of the stage looking really miserable, and no one can buy an eyelid.
Right.
I've had a great chat on with you guys tonight.
Yeah.
I have to say, I did a podcast before this podcast, so now I'm kind of feeling like I haven't even had any dinner and it's getting late. And
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
good.
I need to take my sports bra off. You know what I mean? So
I've got some soup on. I've got some soup on as
You
well.
wear a sports bra, Kim.
Hey, you quick,
Kim, you wear a sports bra.
He was quick.
well,
there.
sometimes
Did
a
you
sports bra.
Do you get men's sports bras?
Yeah. Well, I've just got
Get anything on the internet, Chris. Don't you know?
I've got to go and take my high heels off, you know, because they're playing murder with me calves, like, you know. That's why I'm hiding. My
Okay. Same time next week, Kim.
Same time next week.
Okay.
I've got some stuff coming up as well. I sort of want to shout about. So I've got a big interview coming up on Monday, which is with Paul Elam from A Voice for Men. Now, this interview I'm super excited about because this guy is basically organized and kind of like voiced concerns within the male community. And, you know, I understand that people may be kind of triggered to some of the stuff, but some of the guys in life have done so well just standing up and expressing what they've experienced and how, as a community of men, we need to adjust things so that we look after each other better. And Paul's just he's just probably, I'm not going to like say the biggest guest on Kim Drops, but probably the biggest guest on Kim Drops. But yeah, so I'm really excited about that.
You heard it here first, folks.
And also I'm going to connect with Will again and possibly Auditing America and even Auditing Britain. These guys are aware of what's going on. We're happy to maybe come on Kim Drops. And I am opening to some of these troll accounts, some of the real people who are in the community creating content. I am happy to engage in conversation with you people. Just because you've been labeled a troll doesn't mean I'm going to like write you off altogether.
Yeah. Can we bring Leon 1 week? Can you bring Leon? He seems okay.
Well, what I'm prepared to do with Lee is if Lee contacts me directly, I'm prepared to have a recorded call with him and have a discussion about stuff.
Yeah.
If he wants that. There's other people in the community as well. The thing is, right, there are actual predators amongst what's going on here. So we do want to be a bit clued up as to who we're going to be bringing on and vetting people to an extent. Obviously, there's people of interest in the community that we want to learn from. We want to put on Kim Drops. As long as the idea is that we're going to be learning things and we're going to have sort of open discussion, pretty much anyone can come on this platform. As long as they're not harming people or doing something that we wouldn't want to be associated with. Okay?
Yeah, good. Okay then. Well, we're checking out then, huh?
So Monday for my interview with Paul Elam from the Red Pill documentary, A Voice for Men. And also next week, Wednesday, 9 o'clock, we're going to be back with Chris and Charlie for more fun discussion. I love long-form discussion, guys. I think long-form discussion is the way forward. I think what's happening, all the different conflicts in the world, if only they could bloody sit down for a couple of hours a week and have some long-form discussion, I think would really go a long way. So big thank you for all the viewers who are watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do the whole shenanigans. Be back here next week. Tell your friends, share the link around, post the video in the groups, send it via Messenger. And also you can donate if you want to support the work. If you invest money in us, we'll invest in you. It's a symbiotic thing here. I'm a member of the community. If you need consultation, you've got ongoing issues, you need to speak with me, I offer a free half-an-hour consultation to anybody who wants to speak with me, and then I'll be asking for an hourly rate after that. But I will be able to provide you with some support on one-to-one basis. So if you wanted that, drop me a message. Thank you so much, Charlie.
We get it for free, Charlie. We get it for free. Yeah. So thanks, Kim. Okay. Right. Look, I'm off, guys. Right. Okay. See you next week. Yeah.
See you later, mate.
Okay. Hey, guys. Good night.
Bye-bye.
And bye.
Whoa. Wow. Cool, guys. Are you still with me? Thanks for watching. Thanks for being alive and being awake. If you are awake, if you're not awake, wake up. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, Sheila. Nice that you commented for the first time today. Bye, Lee. If you want to drop me a message, I'll speak with you. Okay. Bye, Flat Earth people who are here as well. Interesting to hear what's going on with you guys. There will be content coming out on this channel regarding some of the questions that you guys are asking, so that will happen eventually, so just stay tuned. Bye, everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, shenanigans, donate if you can, if you have the means. Don't worry if you don't. Bye, everyone. Bye. Bye.